Welcome to Stories for Sleep, a place where gentle stories are told to help your mind slow down, relax, and gradually drift into deep sleep. Each night we explore things that are very familiar in life, but see them in a softer way, a deeper way, and a more peaceful way. In tonight's video, we begin a very special journey with the theme, the most relaxing truths about coffee that help you fall asleep. It may sound unusual to talk about coffee in the evening, but this is not a story about wakefulness. This is a story about scent memory, nature, and the very slow journeys behind every coffee bean, things that can calm your mind in a natural way. Let this voice accompany you gently, leading you away from the rush of the day and slowly into a deeper state of rest. If you enjoy gentle bedtime stories, don't forget to subscribe to Stories for Sleep, so you always have a quiet place to return to each night. Night has come slowly, as if the world is reminding itself to soften after a long day. Perhaps right now you are lying in bed, the lights dimmed, and in that quiet space your mind is still slightly in motion. Thoughts that have not yet closed, feelings that linger somewhere. And sometimes the hardest part before sleep is not that the body isn't tired, but that the mind has not truly settled. We live in a rhythm that moves too fast. Each day passes with hundreds of things to remember to do, to worry about. And at the end of the day, when there is finally time to rest, the mind is like a room where the lights are still on. It is not easy to turn them off immediately. It is not easy to step from the world of movement into the world of sleep. And strangely, among all the familiar things in life, there is something very small, very close to us, that we often think of only as a morning habit: coffee. A warm cup, a gentle aroma spreading through the air. We think coffee is something that wakes us up, but few realize that if we listen slowly enough, the story of coffee can guide the mind into a very peaceful state. Because coffee is not just a drink, it is a journey that begins from a small fruit growing on a distant mountainside where there is morning mist and soft sunlight. From there, it passes through the hands of farmers, through days of sun drying, through the heat of roasting, through time, across oceans, across centuries. And then, in a very simple way, it ends in a small cup placed on a table. In that cup, there is nature, there is history, there is science, and there are very personal memories for each person. Carl Jung once said that some of the smallest things in life carry the power of symbols. They are not just objects. They are bridges that lead us to deeper layers of the mind. A scent can call back a memory. A habit can touch something far within the unconscious. The scent of coffee is one of those things. Perhaps you have experienced that moment when the aroma of coffee spreads through the air, and before you even realize it, a familiar feeling appears. An old morning, a small cafe corner, a time that has passed. Without trying to remember, memory arrives on its own. Jung believed that the human mind does not live only in what is happening now. It lives through images, emotions, and memories stored very deeply. And sometimes just a single scent is enough to open an entire inner world. This video is not about coffee in the way you usually hear. It is not about how to brew it better, not about more expensive beans. It is a slow, gentle journey into the simple truths around coffee. Things that may surprise you but also bring a sense of calm. You will discover that a coffee bean is, in truth, a living seed. That its flavor is shaped by rain, by soil, by altitude. That every cup of coffee is the result of hundreds of small decisions. And that its aroma can touch memory even before you take a sip. But more importantly, we will look at coffee as a symbol of slowing down. From a seed, it needs time to grow. From a fruit, it needs time to ripen. From a bean, it needs time to be roasted, to be brewed, to become a fragrance that fills a room. Everything in that journey happens slowly. And perhaps that is exactly what our minds need at the end of the day. Not more information, not more stimulation, but a gentle story slow enough for thoughts to settle, soft enough for emotions to loosen, deep enough for you to feel yourself drifting into stillness. Imagine yourself sitting in a quiet room with soft light, and somewhere in the air there is a very gentle scent of coffee. You do not need to drink it, just feel it, just be there. and slowly your mind begins to slow down. This video will be a journey like that, a journey with no rush, no noise, no need to understand everything. Just listen. Just let the small stories about coffee lead you through nature, through people, through memory, and finally back to yourself. And perhaps while you are listening, while soft images appear and fade, sleep will come naturally like a fragrance spreading through space, very quietly, very deeply, and very peacefully. Let us begin that journey. Part 1. Coffee as a long journey. As night slowly settles and the space around you becomes quieter, there is a very gentle feeling you can notice if you truly slow down, the feeling of small things being very close. Perhaps it is the steady sound of breathing. Perhaps it is the warmth of the blanket, or sometimes just a familiar scent passing softly through memory. And among the most familiar scents in human life, coffee may be one that carries the most stories, the most memories, and the most emotions. Coffee, in the simplest way, is just a drink. But if we slow down, truly slow down, we begin to see that it is a very long journey. A journey that begins from a small fruit growing on a tree somewhere far away in a land of morning mist, sunlight, and seasons of rain that come and go. And after many stages, it ends as a soft fragrance filling a room, a fragrance that even in passing can make the mind pause for a moment. Carl Jung once said that some very ordinary things in life carry symbolic power. They are not just objects. They are doors into memory, into emotion, into deeper parts of the soul. And the scent of coffee is one such symbol. It is not just a smell, it is a feeling, a familiarity, a presence. A coffee bean begins as a fruit on a tree. That may sound simple, but if you think more deeply, it is already a part of nature, quietly at work. The coffee tree grows over years, absorbing sunlight, rainwater, soil, and air. The fruit ripens slowly over time. Each fruit is the result of many elements coming together. And inside that fruit is a seed, a very small part of life itself. That seed is picked, dried, roasted, and carried across long distances. It may have crossed mountains, crossed oceans, passed through many countries and many years before reaching a small kitchen, a cafe, or a familiar corner of a table. There is something very deep in that journey. That from a fruit growing on a tree in a distant place, it can become a fragrance filling the room where you are sitting. An invisible connection between nature and human life. In a small cup of coffee, if we look slowly, we can see an entire world within it. There is soil. There is rain, there is sunlight, there are the hands of farmers, there is time, there is science, there is history, and there is the culture of people across centuries. Jung believed that humans always search for meaning in small things, and sometimes the most familiar things carry the deepest stories. A cup of coffee is not just something to wake us up, it is a meeting point between nature and human life. A place where many elements come together in stillness. Coffee has crossed oceans, traveled on ships, passed through long journeys through different periods of history. Once it was unfamiliar, then slowly it became familiar. Then it became a part of daily rhythm, a part of mornings, a part of conversations, a part of quiet moments. Some things begin as a seed, but over time they become a part of human life. Coffee is one of those things. If we look a little deeper, we see that the journey of coffee is very much like the journey of a person. It begins from something small. It grows through time. It passes through experiences and slowly becomes a part of a larger story. Jung once said that inside every person there is an invisible journey, a journey we do not always notice, from the first memories, from small experiences, from fleeting emotions. All of them slowly connect, forming who we are today. Coffee has a journey like that too. From a small fruit, to a bean, to a fragrance, a long process, very slow, very patient. And perhaps it is that slowness that makes it special. In modern life, everything moves quickly. We drink a cup of coffee in a few minutes. But the journey that brought that cup into existence may have taken years. The tree had to grow. The fruit had to ripen. The beans had to be harvested, processed, transported. Everything needed time. There is a deep sense of peace in thinking about that. That some things in life cannot be rushed, cannot be shortened, cannot be forced to move faster. They need time to become what they are. And when you smell coffee, sometimes it is not just a scent. It is a gentle reminder to slow down. A reminder that things can unfold slowly, that we do not always need to hurry. Jung believed the human mind needs moments like that. Moments to pause. Moments to simply feel. Not to analyze, not to think, just to be. The scent of coffee can do that. Just a passing moment, and the mind returns to somewhere familiar. An old morning, a cafe corner, a time that has passed. The images do not need to be named. They just appear softly. And just as a coffee bean travels a long journey before becoming a fragrance, the human mind travels through many experiences before it becomes still. Not in a single moment, but over time. Perhaps that is why when night comes and everything slows down, we begin to notice the smallest things more clearly. A scent, a memory, a feeling of familiarity. In a cup of coffee there is nature, history, science, and culture. But there is also emotion, memory, and the most personal parts of each person. And if we listen slowly, the story of coffee is not about wakefulness. It is a story of a journey. A long journey from a fruit on a tree to a fragrance in a room. A journey connecting distant things with very near ones. Just as people carry distant stories within themselves. Memories, experiences, emotions, all slowly becoming part of the present. And now as you lie still, perhaps you do not need to think of coffee as a drink. Just think of it as a slow journey. A journey of nature, of time, of people. A journey that begins from something very small and ends as a very gentle fragrance, spreading, then fading into stillness. And as we think a little deeper about that journey, we begin to realize that coffee does not only travel through space, but also through time. A small bean may have spent months growing on a branch, days being cared for, hours drying under the sun. It has passed through the hands of people you have never met, living in places you may never have seen. And then quietly, it becomes part of your life, part of very familiar moments. Perhaps an early morning when the light is still soft. Perhaps a rainy afternoon when the room feels warmer because of a familiar scent, or simply a passing memory unclear but enough to soften the heart. Carl Jung said that some things in life do not exist only in the present. They carry layers of memory, layers of meaning we do not always notice. A scent, a sound, an image, all can become bridges that lead us back to deeper parts of the mind. The scent of coffee is one such bridge. It is not just a smell. It is a feeling of familiarity, a feeling of repetition. Day after day, year after year, it becomes part of life's rhythm. And over time, it attaches itself to very personal moments. Some remember an early morning long ago. Some remember an old conversation. Some remember a time when everything felt simpler. These memories do not need to be clear. They only need to exist like a soft layer behind the mind. If we look at the world the way Jung often did, we may see coffee as a symbol of a journey, from nature to human life, from soil to a room, from a small seed to an emotional experience. And that journey never happens in a rush. Each step needs time. Each stage needs patience. Each change comes from very small movements. Perhaps that is exactly what our minds need at the end of the day. Not something new, not more stimulation, but a feeling of returning to slower rhythms. Imagine a coffee fruit growing on a branch. It does not hurry. It does not know time the way humans do. It simply grows, little by little, with sunlight, with rain, with wind, and one day it ripens. Everything it becomes is the result of slow accumulation. People are like that too. Thoughts do not appear instantly. Emotions do not form in a moment. Everything comes from many small things that have passed through life. And at the end of the day, when you lie still, all of it begins to settle like soft layers of sediment gently resting. You may not notice it, but your mind also travels a long journey each day, from morning to evening, from conversations to quiet moments, from clear emotions to vague ones. And when night comes, that journey needs rest. Like a coffee bean after passing through many stages, leaving behind only a gentle fragrance in the air. Not loud, not rushed, just a soft presence. You do not need to do anything now. No need to understand more deeply. No need to remember every detail. Just let the image of that journey move slowly through your mind. A fruit on a tree, a bean in the earth, a journey across oceans, a fragrance spreading in a room, and then everything slowly fades into stillness. Perhaps in that stillness you begin to feel something very gentle, that not every journey needs to be rushed. Not everything needs to happen right away. Some of the most beautiful things in life only appear when we are slow enough to notice them, like the scent of coffee, like memory, like sleep slowly coming closer. Part 2. Coffee is a living seed. When we listen slowly to the story of coffee, we begin to notice something very simple, yet very deep. What we usually call a coffee bean is actually a seed. A seed that once had the potential to become a tree, to rise under the sun, to grow in rain and wind, and to continue the cycle of life. But at some point in its journey, that seed is kept by human hands, selected, roasted, and from that moment on, it is no longer a seed meant to sprout. It becomes something else, a fragrance, a gentle bitterness, a familiar presence in human life. There is something very profound in that transformation. Carl Jung once said that true transformation begins from within. Something does not become something else simply because its shape changes, but because its essence has passed through a process. And the coffee seed, in a very natural way, carries a story like that. At first, it is part of the tree, resting inside a small fruit, protected, nourished, storing energy. If planted in the ground, it could become a new tree. It holds within it the ability to live, to grow, to continue a cycle. But when humans pick it, dry it, and place it into the roasting heat, another journey begins. Heat touches the seed. Time begins its work. Its inner structure slowly changes. Second by second, inside the coffee bean, hundreds of small reactions occur. New compounds are formed. Fragrance begins to appear. New flavors slowly emerge. A seed that was once silent becomes something that can carry emotion. Perhaps it is one of the most beautiful transformations in nature. Something that could have become a tree now becomes an experience for humans. Not an ending, but a transformation. Jung often spoke of inner transformation. He believed that every person carries parts within them that are not yet unlocked, emotions not yet understood, potentials not yet recognized. And sometimes life experiences things that seem very ordinary, like heat, helping those parts slowly change. The coffee bean is the same. Before roasting, it does not have the smell we know. It does not have the flavor we recognize. It is just a seed, silent and simple. But when heat touches it, when time is enough, when the process is slow and deep enough, what is inside begins to reveal itself. A gentle sweetness, a nutty scent, a woody note, a baked aroma. All of these were always there, hidden within the structure of the seed. They simply had not yet been opened. In a very gentle way, perhaps people are like that too. There are parts inside us that we have never seen. Memories, emotions, dreams. They do not disappear. They just rest quietly, waiting for something to touch them so they can slowly appear. Heat can change the structure of a coffee bean, and experience can change the structure of a person. Not in a single moment, but over time, through very small things. A conversation, a journey, an old memory returning. All of these are like gentle layers of warmth, helping deeper parts slowly unlock. In the world of coffee, there are two main species people often speak about: Arabica and Robusta. If we listen to their stories, we can see a beautiful contrast, very similar to the different sides within each person. Arabica is often described as softer. Its aroma is delicate. Its flavor is lighter, more complex, sometimes with a gentle acidity, a thin sweetness. It often grows in higher places where the climate is cooler, where the tree must grow more slowly. And it is that slowness that creates deeper layers of flavor. Robusta is different, stronger, hardier, bolder. It can endure harsher conditions. It grows faster, and its taste is clearer, more powerful, sometimes rougher but very steady. The two species, seen in a gentle way, are like two different parts within every person. There are times we are soft, there are times we are strong, there are times we are delicate, there are times we are resilient. No part is wrong, no part is less than the other. They are simply different, and each part carries its own beauty. Jung believed that a person does not have just one nature. We are a combination of many sides, a gentle part, a strong part, a deep part, a simple part. And the journey of understanding oneself is the journey of accepting all of those parts. Arabica and Robusta, though different, are both coffee. Just like the different sides within us, though not the same, are all part of who we are. When coffee beans are roasted, whether Arabica or Robusta, they both pass through transformation. But each responds in its own way. Each creates its own aroma. Each carries its own story. And perhaps that is a gentle reminder. Every person responds differently to what they experience. The same event, but each person feels it in their own way. The same story, but each soul opens at a different rhythm. A coffee bean is a living seed, but once roasted, it is no longer alive in the biological sense. It enters another form of existence, an existence in fragrance, in memory, in human emotion. And perhaps it is that transformation that makes its story so special. From something that could have become a tree, it becomes a fragrance in the air, a moment in the morning, a memory in the mind. As you listen to this story in the night, you do not need to imagine too much. Just think of a small seed, a seed that once rested inside a fruit. Then one day it was roasted, and from that moment it carried a fragrance that even in passing could make someone pause. Perhaps in the quiet of the night, your mind is also passing through a very gentle process like that. The thoughts of the day slowly settling, the emotions slowly softening, the deeper parts beginning to open very slowly. You do not need to do anything. You do not need to try to understand. Just let everything unfold at its own rhythm, like a coffee bean passing through heat, becoming a fragrance spreading through space. And if we stay with that image a little longer, we begin to notice that the transformation of the coffee bean does not happen in an instant. It needs time. It needs patience. It needs just the right warmth, not too fast, not too intense. Only when everything moves at the right rhythm can the deepest aromas appear. In the moment a coffee bean is roasted, there are soft little cracks inside, subtle changes the eyes cannot see. But in those quiet movements, the structure of the bean slowly opens. The inner layers shift, new compounds form, and from a silent seed, a fragrance begins to awaken. There is something very similar to the inner journey of a person. Jung once said that true change does not come from loud moments, but from deep movements inside that we do not always notice when they happen. A thought slowing down, a memory seen from a different perspective, an emotion accepted instead of avoided. These changes, like warmth in the roasting process, do not destroy a person. They open deeper parts. The coffee bean does not disappear when it is roasted. It becomes another version of itself, a version whose fragrance can spread, whose taste can be felt, whose presence can touch the senses. And perhaps people are the same. What we go through in life does not only make us tired, it also makes us deeper. Experiences, whether gentle or difficult, leave a very soft imprint in the mind. And over time, those imprints become part of who we are, like aroma resting deep within the structure of a roasted bean. When we think of Arabica and Robusta, we can imagine two different rhythms of life. Arabica is like quiet mornings, gentle moments, subtle emotions that we only notice when we truly slow down. It needs cool air. It needs height. It grows slowly, and that slowness creates depth. Robusta is like the stronger parts of life, the moments we need to stand firm, the times we must endure more. It can grow in harsher conditions. It is resilient, and its flavor is bold, clear, grounded. The two exist side by side, not competing, not rejecting each other, simply two different ways of being. Inside each person there are parts like that too. Some days we are soft, some days we are strong, sometimes we are sensitive, sometimes we are steady. No state lasts forever, and no state is wrong. Jung believed that understanding oneself is not about choosing one side and rejecting another. It is about seeing all sides, accepting all sides, letting them exist together, like the two coffee species in the world, a gentle part, a strong part, a deep part, a resilient part. When the coffee bean passes through heat, it is no longer a seed meant to sprout, but it begins another journey. A journey of becoming a fragrance that can fill space, a fragrance that can touch memory, a fragrance that can make someone pause. And if we listen deeply, we realize that the most beautiful thing is not that it changes, but how it changes. Slowly, quietly, patiently, just like the way your mind is slowly calming now. The thoughts of the day do not disappear at once. The emotions do not fade at once. They settle, little by little, like a coffee bean slowly opening in warmth, like a fragrance slowly spreading in space. And as you lie still doing nothing, simply listening, your mind is also passing through a very gentle process like that. A process of letting go, a process of softening, a very slow process, but very natural. Perhaps you will not notice the exact moment when sleep begins, just as no one can point to the exact moment a coffee bean begins to release its aroma. Things simply happen when time has been enough. And right now, in the quiet of the night, you can let everything continue just like that. Very gently, very slowly, very deeply. Part 3. Nature determines the flavor. If we continue to go deeper into the journey of coffee, we begin to notice something very gentle. Its flavor does not come only from the seed itself, but from the place where it lived, the soil where its roots held, the rain that nourished it, the altitude where it reached upward, and the climate that embraced it through each season. Every element leaves a very subtle imprint, and when they blend together, they create a unique voice in every cup of coffee. A coffee bean is not just a bean. It is the memory of the land where it grew. Carl Jung once said that a person is not shaped only by oneself, but also by the environment, by what has touched one's life, by the places one has passed through. There are influences so deep that we do not always notice them, yet they remain there quietly shaping how we feel, how we respond, and how we see the world. Coffee is the same. The soil where the tree grows carries its own minerals. In some places, the soil is rich, soft, and moist. In others, it is drier, harder, filled with stones. These things do not change the shape of the bean immediately, but over time they seep inward, slowly, quietly. And then, when the bean is roasted, those differences can be felt in the flavor. Rain leaves its mark as well. Gentle, steady rains help the tree grow evenly. Long rainy seasons bring the moisture it needs. Drier periods slow the ripening of the fruit. Each shift in weather becomes part of the journey of growth, just as life leaves its imprint on people. A warm memory, a peaceful time, a difficult season. All of these remain not loudly, but deeply, and over time they become part of how we experience everything. Altitude is also something very special. Coffee often grows in the mountains. In higher places, the air is cooler, the temperature is lower, the tree grows more slowly, and it is that slowness that creates deeper, more refined flavors. The beans develop gradually accumulating layers of aroma. Day by day, little by little, they absorb what surrounds them. There is a quiet beauty in this. Things that grow slowly often carry greater depth within them. Not rushed, not hurried. Just one day at a time, one season at a time, each small change gathering together. Jung believed that the growth of the soul is much the same. It does not come in a single moment. It is not a sudden leap. It is a very long process. Small experiences, small emotions, small realizations, all of them slowly shape who we become. Coffee grown in the mountains in cooler climates often carries deeper flavors, not because it tries to be different, but because it lived in an environment that required it to grow more slowly. And in that slowness, everything forms more clearly. People are sometimes like that too. There are periods in life when everything slows down, perhaps times of quiet, perhaps moments when we pause, and it is in those spaces that we begin to understand ourselves more clearly, feel more deeply, see the world a little differently. Each land creates its own signature in a cup of coffee. A bean grown in Ethiopia carries a different aroma from one grown in Colombia. A bean from highlands differs from one grown in lowlands. No bean is exactly like another, because each place has different soil, different rain, different light, different temperature. And all of those things, even the smallest ones, are kept within the bean. When we drink a cup of coffee, we are not only tasting the bean, we are tasting a land, a climate, a journey of growth. There is something very similar in human life. Each person carries their own signature. No one is exactly like another, not because we try to be different, but because we have passed through different places, grown up in different circumstances, met different people, and all of those things have become part of who we are. Jung called this the imprint of the personal unconscious, the experiences that have passed yet remain quietly shaping how we feel and respond, just as soil, rain, and climate shape the flavor of coffee. If we think about this slowly, we begin to see that no flavor is accidental. Everything comes from a process, a very long accumulation. And perhaps that is a gentle reminder. You are the result of where you have lived, of what you have gone through, of what you have felt. Nothing is meaningless. No experience truly disappears. Everything remains just as soil and rain remain within a coffee bean. Some beans carry a light floral note. Some carry the taste of fruit. Some carry a deep bitterness. No flavor is right or wrong. They are simply different, and each flavor tells its own story. People are the same. Some are gentle, some are quiet, some are strong, some are subtle. All are shaped by what has touched their lives. As night falls and you lie still listening, perhaps you can begin to feel your own signature. No need to name it, no need to analyze, just a sense of what you have lived through, what has remained. Just as a land leaves its imprint on a coffee bean, life leaves its imprint on the human mind. And the most beautiful thing is that nothing needs to be changed. There is no need to become a different version of yourself. Simply accept that everything has shaped you in a natural way. High mountains create deeper flavors because the tree must grow slowly. And perhaps the slower times in life also help a person become deeper in their own way. No rush, no noise, just little by little, gathering over time. Like the scent of coffee spreading through space, very gentle but lasting. And if we remain with that image a little longer, we begin to realize that nature never rushes when creating flavor. Nothing is formed in a single day. No coffee bean becomes deep after just one season of rain. Everything needs time to soak into everything else. Soil soaking into roots, rain soaking into the trunk, sunlight soaking into each small fruit. And little by little, all of these things enter the bean quietly and patiently. The coffee tree stands still on the mountainside, season after season. It does not know it is creating flavor. It simply grows in the most natural way. But it is this simple act of just growing that makes it special. No force, no haste, just a very slow, very deep kind of growth. There is something very similar in the way people gather memories. The things that touch us are not always clear at the moment they happen. An ordinary morning, a passing sentence, a time spent living somewhere. In that moment, we may not notice anything changing, but over the years, those small things seep inside like soil and rain seeping into a tree. Jung once said that the human soul is like deep land. Experiences do not disappear, they simply settle, and then at some point they become part of how we feel life. No need to remember them, no need to name them. They're just there like a soft foundation. Coffee carries such layers too. A bean grown in the highlands may carry a cool aroma. A bean grown in sunny land may carry warmth. A bean from a rainy region may carry softness. Each place leaves its trace, not loud, not obvious at first, but if we slow down and feel, we can sense the difference. Just as when we meet someone, sometimes we sense something in them that cannot be named, a quiet depth, a warmth, a strength. These things do not come from a single moment. They come from a long journey that person has lived. Each land leaves a signature in a cup of coffee, and each life leaves a signature in the human soul. No one is exactly the same. No one carries the same flavor. And that is not something to change. That is part of the beauty of difference. As you lie quietly now in the stillness of night, perhaps your mind is slowly settling. The thoughts of the day drift farther away. Images are no longer as sharp, and somewhere deep within, old experiences rest quietly like soil and rain resting inside a coffee bean. You do not need to dig them up, no need to remember, no need to understand everything. Just know that everything you have lived through is there, creating a very unique flavor within you. And just as nature quietly creates flavor inside a coffee bean, life is quietly creating depth inside you. No rush, no noise, just day by day, little by little, gently accumulating. Part 4. Harvest a race with time. There is a very special moment in the journey of coffee, a moment that is not loud, but carries a deep sense of decision. It is when the coffee fruit ripens on the branch full under the sunlight, holding within it everything it has gathered over many long months. And then one day it is picked. That moment is like a door opening. From there, its journey enters a new stage, a stage where time becomes more important than ever. After being picked, the fruit cannot remain still for too long. Inside it, life is still present. Natural processes are still happening. If left too long, the fruit begins to change. Flavor can be affected. Structure can slowly lose its freshness. So once it is picked, it must be handled quickly, carefully, and with attention. There is something very deep in that image. Carl Jung once said that in human life, there are also ripening moments. Times when an emotion has become full, a thought has become clear, a change is ready to happen. And if we recognize it at the right time, we can move forward naturally. But if we miss it, if we let it pass for too long, sometimes things no longer keep their original wholeness. A ripe coffee fruit is the result of many days and months. It absorbs soil, water, sunlight, and climate. Little by little, it gathers everything needed to become itself. But once it is ripe, the journey does not stop. It needs to move forward, to be cared for, to be guided into the next steps at the right time. After picking the way people select, dry, and ferment, the fruit will shape much of its future flavor. Ripe fruits are chosen carefully. Unripe or overripe ones are separated. Everything is done slowly, carefully, and at the right moment. A single small mistake in the beginning can change everything. A fruit not processed in time may begin to ferment in unwanted ways. A drying step done incorrectly may erase delicate flavors. A small detail overlooked can affect the entire journey that follows. If we look more deeply, this is like how very small moments in life can leave very long traces. A gentle word, a small decision, an emotion held or released, all can become the beginning of what comes later. Jung believed that what happens in the early stages of an experience often leaves deep imprints in the unconscious. A first memory, a first feeling, a first touch. They do not disappear. They remain quietly, and over time, they influence how we see everything. Coffee is the same. What happens just after the fruit is picked follows the bean through the rest of its journey. From drying to fermentation to storage, every step connects. And when the bean is finally roasted and brewed into a cup, everything that happened from the beginning is still there, deep, gentle, and real. There is a quiet beauty in thinking about this, that not everything is decided at the final moment. Many things are formed much earlier, from the very first steps, from very small things we may not have noticed at the time. In the inner journey of a person, it is the same. There are early emotions, old memories, early experiences. They are like the first ripe fruits of the mind. And how we understand them, how we hold them, how we care for them, can influence us for a long time. But this is not meant to create worry. On the contrary, it carries a softness, because everything is part of the journey. Nothing is entirely wrong. Nothing is truly lost. Everything becomes part of the flavor of life. When coffee fruits are dried under the sun, they rest there day after day, slowly losing moisture. Sunlight touches them. Air passes over them. Time does its quiet work. And in those days, that seem ordinary flavor is shaped, not in a single moment, not in a loud event, but in slowness. Jung said that the growth of the soul happens in the same way, not in leaps, but in ordinary days, moments when it seems nothing is changing, yet deep inside everything is slowly shifting. A thought becomes lighter, an emotion becomes softer, a memory becomes easier to accept, little by little, just as coffee fruit needs careful care from the beginning to preserve what is best, not because it is fragile, but because it is in a sensitive moment, a moment of transition. People have such moments too. Times when we change, times when we let go of something old, times when we begin something new. Those are moments when we are easily affected, and also moments that matter. But instead of worrying, perhaps we only need to be gentler with ourselves in those times. Like farmers gently selecting each ripe fruit, like how they dry each batch under the sun. No rush, no haste, just patient care, because they know that everything beautiful later begins with very small steps at the beginning. And now, as you lie quietly in the night, perhaps you too are in a very gentle moment of transition. The day has closed. Thoughts are drifting away. Emotions are settling. No need to hold tightly. No need to hurry. Just let time do its work. Like a coffee fruit, after being picked, resting under sunlight, slowly passing through its process, until one day it becomes a gentle fragrance in the air. And if we remain with that moment a little longer, we begin to see that processing the fruit is not just work, but almost a kind of care. Farmers do not simply harvest and leave it. They observe, they choose. They listen through experience, through a refined feeling built over years. They know which fruit is ripe enough. They know when the sun is just right. They know when to dry longer, when to stop. These decisions may be small, quiet, but they carry lasting effects. A small mistake early can change the flavor of an entire batch. One unripe fruit mixed in. One day of drying too long. One fermentation slightly off. Everything leaves its mark. If we think about this slowly, we realize that human life is also shaped by such small details. A gentle word can remain for a long time. A passing feeling can become a deep memory. A moment of being heard can become lasting warmth. These small things over time shape how we feel the world. Jung believed that first impressions carry great power in the unconscious. Not because they are always clear, but because they arrive when the mind is still soft, still open, and so they stay deeply. Coffee carries these first impressions too. What happens just after the fruit is picked follows the bean through the rest of its journey. When it is roasted, when it becomes a cup, traces from the beginning are still there, even if subtle, even if hard to see. There is a quiet beauty in understanding that everything begins from early steps. Nothing needs to be grand. Nothing needs to be strong. Just the right time, the right rhythm, and enough care. The fruits drying in the sun say nothing. They simply lie there day after day. Light touches them. Wind passes by. Time does its work. No rush, no force, just a natural process. Perhaps the human mind also needs such time. Moments not meant for doing anything. Just to rest, just to settle, just to let what happened in the day slowly find its place. As you lie quietly now, your body is entering a stage very much like that process. Nothing stops all at once. Thoughts are still there. Emotions still move gently. But over time, little by little, they soften. You do not need to force yourself to sleep. You do not need to empty your mind. Just let it pass through its process. Like coffee, fruit, needing time after harvest. Like sunlight, needing time to dry each layer. Like flavor needing time to form. Sleep also needs time to arrive. And in this quiet time, you only need to be here very gently, very slowly, letting everything return to its rhythm. Part 5. Processing where flavor is formed after ripe. Coffee fruits are harvested and pass through the first careful stage their journey enters, a very special part, a part where flavor truly begins to take shape. If before nature quietly nourished them, then at this stage humans gently step in, not to completely change them, but to help what is already inside slowly reveal itself. This is when coffee is processed, and in this process, many delicate things begin to appear. There are 3 main methods often mentioned: washed, natural, and honey. Each is a choice, each is a path, and each path leads to a different flavor, a different feeling, a different story in the cup. The washed method removes the outer skin and fruit flesh quite early. The beans are cleaned, fermented in water, and then dried. This process feels like a cleansing. It makes the bean clearer, highlighting subtle, gentle, distinct flavors. Coffee from this method often feels bright and pure, like a cool morning in the mountains. The natural method is different. The bean is kept inside the fruit and dried together with the outer flesh. During that time, the bean absorbs more from the fruit. The flavor becomes richer, deeper, sometimes carrying a gentle sweetness, like ripe fruit. It is a slow, very natural process, like letting things unfold in their own rhythm. The honey method lies in between, not completely washed, not completely left whole. Some fruit flesh remains on the bean as it dries, and that layer creates very special tones, both clarity and warmth, with a gentle sweetness that is hard to name. 3 methods, 3 paths, 3 ways for a bean to continue its journey. If we listen to this more deeply, we realize that no method is the most correct. Each is simply a different choice, and each leads to its own kind of beauty. Carl Jung once said that people also do not have only one path to grow. Some need quiet to understand themselves. Some need friction to feel more deeply. Some hold many memories. Some choose to let go. And all of these ways can lead to wholeness, each in their own way. In processing, something very interesting happens that we cannot see. Microorganisms take part. Tiny living things so small we cannot notice them, but they are there in the air, in the water, on the fruit's surface. And during fermentation, they help create subtle changes. They do not work loudly. There is no sound, no visible image, only very small, slow, deep movements within. And over time, those movements create difference. A touch of gentle acidity, a hint of sweetness, a trace of fruit. Small things that when combined create an entirely new sensation. There is something very similar in the human mind. Jung believed that within each person, there are always processes happening without our awareness. Thoughts not yet formed, emotions not yet named, memories resting deep, all like microorganisms in the soul, very small, very quiet, yet deeply influential. We do not see them change every day, but over time we notice we are different. A thought becomes lighter, a sadness becomes softer, a feeling becomes clearer. That change does not come from a single big moment. It comes from very small movements, slowly accumulating. After fermentation, the beans are dried. This is a very important step. If dried too quickly, delicate flavors can be lost. If not dried enough, moisture can harm the quality, so patience is needed. Each day they are turned under the sun, each day observed, Each day, they wait. Nothing rushed. Sunlight touches the beans. Air passes over them. Time does its work. Everything is slow. Perhaps this is something we forget in modern life, that the deepest things need time. They cannot be forced, cannot be hurried. We can only wait, care, and let things unfold in their rhythm. After drying, the beans are stored carefully, kept in dry places, away from strong light, away from humidity, preserving what has been formed, protecting the flavor, protecting the journey. Jung once said that people also need safe spaces like this, places where we can hold our emotions, where we can rest, where we are not disturbed too much, because in that calm, what is deep inside can remain whole. A coffee bean passes through many steps before becoming a cup, and each step leaves a mark, not obvious, not easy to see, but real. 3 different methods. Tiny microorganisms quietly working, sunlight patient each day, gentle human care, all blending together to create a flavor we experience in a brief moment. And just the same, a person is shaped by many small things that have passed through life. Things we remember, things we forget, things we never noticed. All are there. As you lie quietly in the night, perhaps you are not thinking about these processes, but deep inside, your mind is also moving through a very slow journey. Thoughts of the day are being processed. Emotions are being fermented. Memories are being arranged. No need to do anything. No need to understand right away. Just let time move gently through you, like a coffee bean under the sun slowly becoming dry. Like small changes inside, slowly creating a deeper, softer, warmer flavor. And if we stay with this stage a little longer, we begin to realize that processing is not just technical. It is almost a time of transformation, a time when the bean is no longer a fresh fruit, but not yet a roasted bean. It is in between, changing, slowly becoming another version of itself. Tiny microorganisms work quietly during fermentation. We do not see them, do not hear them, yet they create subtle shifts. A gentle acidity, a deeper sweetness, a softer sensation. These things form without any sound. There is something very similar inside the human mind. Jung said that within the unconscious, processes are always happening. Memories being rearranged, emotions softening, things once unclear becoming more understood. All in silence. No obvious sign at the time. Only later do we notice we have changed a little. Fermentation is like that. Not sudden, not obvious. Just a series of small movements, continuing slowly and steadily. And over time they create depth. After drying, the beans must be kept in stable conditions. Not too humid, not too hot, not too bright. Just a quiet place where the bean can rest and hold everything it has gathered. There is a gentle beauty in that image. A bean that has gone through many steps is finally placed in a dry, quiet place. Nothing more to do, nothing more to change, just to be kept. People need such spaces too. Times when we do not need to think too much. Times when we do not need to try too hard. Times when we just need to be still. Because in that calm, what has formed inside can remain whole. As you lie quietly now in the stillness of night, your mind may be in a stage like that, no longer rushing as in the day, no longer reacting to so many things, just a pause, a still space, thoughts settling, emotions softening, images fading, like a coffee bean after drying, resting quietly, holding everything it has passed through. You do not need to force sleep, no need to push yourself to relax. Just be there. Let everything arrange itself in its own rhythm. Just as coffee flavor is formed not from one step but from many small steps, slowly, patiently, sleep comes the same way, little by little, very gently, very deeply. Part 6. Roasting the moment of transformation. There is a very special moment in the journey of coffee, a moment when everything changes more clearly than ever, yet still unfolds in deep silence. It is when the coffee bean is roasted. Before this, it has only gone through preparation, absorbing nature, passing through harvest and processing. But in the heat of roasting, what was hidden inside begins to awaken. Aroma appears, flavor begins to form, and a small, silent bean slowly becomes something that can touch the senses. When coffee beans are placed in the roaster, the temperature gradually rises. At first, everything seems quiet, but deep inside, hundreds of small reactions begin to happen. Chemical compounds change structure. Hidden aromas begin to release. It is said that during roasting, hundreds of aroma compounds are created, and those tiny things, when combined, create a complex harmony we call the smell of coffee. There is something deeply beautiful in the idea that fragrance does not exist from the beginning. It appears only after the bean passes through heat, after transformation, when time and warmth work together patiently. Carl Jung believed that in human life there are moments like this too. Moments of transformation, not always easy, not always gentle, but it is through such experiences that deeper parts of us begin to reveal themselves. Before roasting, a coffee bean has none of the aroma we recognize. It is just a dry seed, perhaps pale, perhaps greenish. But when heat touches it, its inner structure changes. Reactions like Maillard and caramelization begin. Their names may sound scientific, but their results are very gentle. The Maillard reaction creates scents like baked bread, roasted nuts, something warm and comforting. Caramelization creates a soft sweetness. And when all these blend together, the bean begins to carry that familiar aroma, a scent that can make us pause even in passing. If we look deeper, this is not only chemistry, it is an image of transformation. What was once simple becomes rich. What was once silent begins to have a voice. People also have such moments in life. Some experiences are like heat. They may change us, help us see the world differently, help us understand ourselves more clearly. Not all at once, but little by little. Jung said that people do not become themselves only through comfort. Sometimes it is challenges, friction moments of facing something new that awaken the deepest parts of the soul. Like the coffee bean. Without heat, it remains just a bean. But passing through heat, it begins to release its aroma. Not because it becomes something entirely different, but because what was always inside is finally opened. Roasting also has different levels. Light roast, medium roast, dark roast. Each brings a different feeling. Light roast keeps more of the original character of the growing region. One can taste the gentle acidity, fruit, and floral notes. It is like preserving the early marks of nature. What was formed by soil, rain, and climate remains very clear. Dark roast is different. The flavor becomes stronger. A hint of smoke, a deeper bitterness. New layers appear. The early traces blend into something warmer and fuller. No level is more correct than another. They are simply different choices. And in a gentle way, this is like people too. Some keep very clear the marks of where they came from. Memories, emotions, early impressions, and they carry that subtlety into how they live, how they feel. Some pass through more experiences, stronger changes, greater friction, and over time they become deeper, fuller, like a darker roast. Jung believed there is no wrong path. Each person passes through different levels of heat in life, and each in their own way releases a unique aroma. What matters is not staying exactly the same or changing completely. It is understanding that every process is part of the journey. When a coffee bean makes a soft, cracking sound in the roaster, that is when it begins to open. A very small sound, but very real. And from that moment, the aroma starts to spread. Warm, deep, emotional. Perhaps you have smelled roasted coffee before and felt something hard to name. A sense of familiarity, warmth, a passing memory. Jung said that scent can reach the deepest layers of the unconscious. It does not pass through reason. It goes straight to emotion. That is why a smell can bring back a place, a time, a person. The scent of roasted coffee carries many such layers. An old morning, a familiar cafe, a quiet time, All can return in a single gentle moment. And now, as you lie in the night, you may not smell real coffee, but just thinking of it, your mind can feel a gentle warmth, like a soft presence spreading in space. Roasting is a moment of transformation, but not a loud one. It happens through attention, patience, careful listening from the roaster. They adjust heat, watch the color, listen for sound. Everything is slow, no rush, no hurry. Because they know that just a little too fast the beans can burn, just a little too slow the aroma may not fully open. Everything needs the right rhythm. People are the same. Some changes in life need time. They cannot be forced, cannot be rushed. We can only pass through them little by little. And one day we realize we are different, deeper, softer, warmer, like a coffee bean that has passed through heat, now carrying a fragrance that can fill a room. And if we stay with the image of the bean in the roaster a little longer, we begin to notice something special. The transformation does not happen suddenly. It unfolds in layers, slowly. Heat does not touch the bean for just a moment. It surrounds, it seeps into it, reaches every part inside. And that gradual soaking creates depth. At first, the bean keeps its old shape. Then, slowly, the color changes. From pale green to yellow, from yellow to light brown, then deep brown. A very gentle journey. A transition with no clear border. If we look at each small moment, we may not notice the difference. But looking at the whole process, we see the bean has become something new. Jung said that people change the same way. Not in a single night, not from one decision, but through ordinary months and years. Days when it seems nothing is happening. Yet deep inside, something is shifting. A thought slows. An emotion softens. A way of seeing becomes wider. These changes have no sound, no clear sign. But like the Maillard reaction inside the bean, they quietly create new flavors in the soul. With light roasting, the bean keeps many traces of where it came from. Floral notes, fruit notes, subtle details. Like a person who still carries the original parts of themselves early. Memories first, emotions, things formed long ago. With darker roasting, new layers appear. A little smoke, a little warmth, a little depth. The original traces are still there, but now blended into something fuller. Like a person after many experiences no longer the same, yet still carrying everything they once were. No roast level is better. They are simply different shades, and each shade has its own beauty. Some live gently, delicately, keeping the clarity of their beginnings. Some pass through many trials and become deeper, steadier. And both are very real ways of being. When the bean makes that soft, cracking sound, it is a sign of opening. A very quiet sound, yet important. As if inside it is saying everything is ready. And from that moment, the aroma spreads more clearly, warmer, fuller. Perhaps in human life there are such moments too. Small moments we do not always notice right away. One day, we realize we are calmer about something that once worried us. One day, an old memory no longer feels heavy. One day, the heart feels softer. These are moments of opening. Not loud, not obvious, but real. As you lie quietly now in the stillness of the night, your mind may be going through something like roasting. Thoughts of the day are still there, but slowly changing. Emotions are still there, but becoming warmer, softer. You do not need to do anything. No need to force yourself to let go. No need to try to forget anything. Just let time and stillness touch you like heat touching the coffee bean. Very slowly, very evenly, very gently. And then, in the most natural way, everything inside will slowly settle, open, and soften, like a warm fragrance spreading quietly through space. Part 7. Brewing the science in every cup. After the coffee bean has passed through such a long journey from the soil, from the rain, from the days growing on the branch, through harvest, processing, and roasting, it finally arrives at a moment, very close to human life, the moment it is brewed. This is when everything comes together. It is when all that has been gathered within the bean is released. It is when a long story is folded into a small, warm and familiar cup. On the surface, brewing coffee seems very simple, just water passing through ground coffee. But if we listen more deeply, we will see that it is a very delicate process. Grind size, water, temperature, extraction time, all influence the final flavor. Even the smallest change can make the cup taste different. There is something very similar to the way small details in life shape how people feel. Carl Jung once said that it is not always the big things that make the difference. Sometimes it is the very small, very subtle things that have a deeper influence than we realize. The way we speak, the way we listen, a moment when we pause. All of these can change how we feel about a day, a relationship, a memory. When coffee is ground, the size of each particle determines how water moves through it. Ground too fine, the water flows more slowly and the taste can become deeper and stronger. Ground too coarse, the water flows more quickly and the taste may become lighter and clearer. There is no absolute right or wrong, only choices that create different shades. Just like the way each person experiences the world according to their own size. Some people feel things very deeply. A small sentence can stay with them for a long time. A small memory can carry great meaning. Others feel things more lightly. Things come and go, and both ways are real ways of being. The temperature of the water is also very important. Water that is too hot can make the taste harsh. Water that is too cool may not be enough to draw out the aroma. Only when the temperature is just right does everything become balanced. The fragrance opens. A gentle sweetness appears. Hidden layers awaken softly. Jung once said that people also need a temperature that is just right in life. Too much pressure can create tension. Too little challenge can stop growth. But when things are balanced, we begin to open, begin to understand, begin to feel more deeply. Extraction time is the same. If water passes through too quickly, the flavor does not have time to appear. If it lingers too long, the taste may become heavier and more intense. Everything needs the right rhythm, the right moment, the right measure. Perhaps this is also very similar to life. Some things need time to understand. Some emotions need time to settle. Some changes need time to happen. They cannot be rushed. They cannot be forced. We can only let them unfold in their own rhythm. Water is an essential part of brewing coffee, but not all water is the same. Water contains minerals, small elements we cannot see, yet they affect the final flavor. The same coffee brewed with a different source of water can taste very different. This is like how environment influences people. A quiet space can calm the mind. A gentle word can soften emotions. Warm light can make us feel safer. These very small things, like minerals in water, are not obvious, but they change the experience deeply. Pressure is also important, especially in methods like espresso. When water is forced through the coffee under pressure, it draws out stronger, thicker flavors. A small cup of espresso, deep and warm, carries many emotions in a very short sip. There are times in life when people go through such pressure as well. Periods of tension. Times when we must face many things at once. And sometimes in those moments, the deepest parts of us appear. Patience, strength, understanding. It is not always comfortable, but it is part of the journey. Each brewing method carries its own story. Espresso is strong, fast, concentrated, like a moment of sudden clarity. Pour over is slow, gentle, drop by drop, like a quiet morning. Cold brew is long, silent, stretched over many hours, like a patient waiting. No method is better than another. They are simply different ways of telling a story. Jung believed that each person also tells the story of their life in their own way. Some live quickly, clearly, strongly. Some live slowly, deeply, delicately. Some move patiently through everything very gradually. And all of these are very real ways of existing. When you think about a cup of coffee, you may realize it is not just water and grounds. It is the result of many things that have come together. Grind size, temperature, time, water, pressure, method, all blending to create a single feeling. People are the same. You are the result of many things that have passed through your life. The places you have lived, the people you have met, the things you have felt. Very small moments gathering little by little. And now, as you lie quietly in the night, perhaps your mind is also extracting what happened during the day. Not clearly, not consciously, but gently, slowly. Thoughts are settling. Emotions are softening. Images are fading. Like water passing through coffee grounds, little by little, carrying flavor, carrying feeling, then becoming clearer. You do not need to do anything more. You do not need to try to sleep. Just let everything happen in its own rhythm. Like a cup of coffee being brewed slowly, drop by drop, until everything is enough and the quiet begins to spread through the space. And if we remain with that moment of brewing a little longer, we may realize that it is not only a technical process, but almost a ritual, a deliberate slowness, a time when a person gives their full attention to every small detail. The one who brews often listens to the sound of the water, watches each drop fall, adjusts the temperature slightly, waits for each second. Nothing is rushed, nothing is careless, because they know that these small details create the final difference. There is a deep beauty in that attentiveness. Jung once said that when a person is truly present in a moment, the mind begins to grow quieter. When we do something with full attention, the inner noise softens, unnecessary thoughts fade, and only a simple feeling remains: I am here. Brewing coffee can bring that feeling. Water flowing through the grounds very slowly, warm steam rising very gently, a fragrance spreading through the space very deeply. Everything happens in silence. No words, no explanation. Each brewing method tells a story, not only through flavor but through rhythm. Espresso is a very brief moment, yet very strong. Like the instant we suddenly understand something important. Clear, sharp, focused. Pour over is slower. Circles of water are poured. Each drop seeps through the grounds. Like a quiet morning when there is time to breathe, to look out the window, to feel the new day arriving. Cold brew is even longer. Hours where water and coffee simply remain together quietly. No rush, no force. Like deep periods in life when change happens without us noticing right away. No way is the same, and no way is the only way. Jung believed that each person has their own rhythm. Some live fast, some live slowly, some feel deeply, some feel lightly, and all of these are natural ways of existing. Just as a cup of coffee is formed from many small elements blending together, a person is also shaped by many experiences that have passed. Nothing is separate. Nothing is random. Everything contributes to how we feel the world. As you lie quietly now in the stillness of the night, perhaps your mind is moving through a process like brewing coffee. What happened during the day is slowly flowing through you. Thoughts are being filtered. Emotions are becoming lighter. No need to understand. No need to analyze. Just let everything pass very slowly, very gently. Like each drop of water passing through the coffee, carrying flavor, then becoming warm and soft. Sleep comes the same way. Not in a single moment, but in slowness, little by little, until your mind becomes completely still and sinks into a deep peace. Part 8. Body and Mind. How coffee affects us. There is something very interesting in the way coffee touches human life. Not only in its flavor, not only in the warmth of holding a cup, but deeper coffee enters the body, enters the mind, and touches very subtle layers we sometimes do not notice. It is not just a drink. It is an experience, a very gentle effect but very real. When we drink a cup of coffee, caffeine begins to enter the body. It travels through the blood, reaches the brain, and there it does something very special. It blocks the signal of sleepiness. In our brain, there is a substance called adenosine. It builds up as we grow tired as the day passes, and it sends a signal that it is time to rest. Caffeine does not remove tiredness, but it takes the place of that signal, so the brain temporarily does not recognize sleepiness. A very small mechanism, a very subtle change. But the result is that we feel more awake, more clear, as if we have more energy. From a scientific view, it is only a biological reaction. But if we look deeper, we can see something very close to how the human mind works. Carl Jung once said that what we feel does not always reflect what is truly happening inside. Sometimes we think we are strong, but we are only temporarily not touching our fatigue. Sometimes we think we have forgotten, but the memory is still there, just lying deeper. Caffeine does not remove tiredness. It only quiets the signal for a while. And this is not bad. It is simply one way the body adapts, allowing us to move through a long day. But what is special is that each person feels coffee in a different way. Some people need only a small cup to feel their heart beat faster, their mind become more alert. Others can drink more and still feel calm. Some drink in the morning comfortably, but if they drink in the afternoon, they cannot sleep. All of this depends on genes, on the body, on habits formed over time. There is no single reaction for everyone. Jung believed the human mind is the same. No one feels the world in exactly the same way. The same story may feel warm to one person and sad to another. The same memory may bring a smile to one and silence to another. Each person carries a very personal way of responding, shaped by what they have lived through, by the body, by memories, by very old experiences that may no longer be clearly remembered. Coffee touches people in this personal way. But there is something even deeper than caffeine, the smell. Perhaps you have felt this before, just smelling coffee, even before drinking it, the mind already begins to change. A familiar feeling appears, a passing memory, a morning somewhere, a place somewhere. The smell of coffee can awaken memories and emotions before we even realize it. Jung once said that scent is one of the fastest paths into the unconscious. It does not need to pass through reason. It does not need explanation. It goes straight into feeling. And that is why a scent can bring us back to a time, a place, a person. A familiar smell can return us to the past. A gentle fragrance can bring back an old feeling. And it happens naturally. The smell of coffee is not just a smell. It is connected with moments. Mornings beginning, conversations, quiet times alone. Over the years, that smell becomes part of memory. And when we smell it, the mind does not only recognize the scent, it recognizes the feelings that come with it. Perhaps alertness, perhaps warmth, perhaps a sense of familiarity that is hard to name. Jung believed that symbols in life are not always clear. Sometimes they are very simple. A scent, a sound, an image. But they carry deep meaning because they are tied to experiences repeated many times in life. Coffee has become such a symbol, not only because of caffeine, but because of the feeling it brings. A rhythm of beginning, a moment of waking, a pause in the middle of the day. But now, as you lie in the night when the day has ended, the story of coffee is no longer about alertness. It becomes a story about the body and mind. About how very small things can touch what is inside us. The body responds in its own way. The mind responds in its own way. Memories and emotions appear in their own way. Nothing needs to be the same. Just as each person feels coffee differently, each person feels life differently. Some need more energy to feel awake. Some only need a little quiet to feel enough. And both are natural ways of existing. As you listen to this story, perhaps you will notice that just thinking of the smell of coffee can create a very gentle feeling. Not a feeling of alertness, but a feeling of familiarity, like a morning that has passed, like a memory that has long been there. And sometimes that familiar feeling helps the mind soften, because in the unconscious, what is familiar always brings a sense of safety. Jung believed that when people feel safe, the mind begins to let go. Tension decreases, thoughts slow, and from there the body begins to move into rest. Right now you do not need to drink coffee. You do not need to smell it for real. Just remember the image of a warm cup, a soft steam rising, a familiar feeling, and then let everything settle. Your body is slowing, your mind is softening, Signals of sleepiness are returning naturally. No need to resist. No need to force sleep. Just let the body do what it has always known how to do. Just as a cup of coffee can wake you in the morning, the quiet of night can gently bring you into sleep. And between these two, the body and mind always know how to find their balance. And if we listen even more deeply to how coffee touches body and mind, we may notice that sometimes the effect does not come from drinking, but from anticipation. Just seeing a steaming cup, just hearing water flow through grounds, just smelling a light fragrance in the air. The body begins to respond before the first sip touches the lips. This is very natural. The mind remembers. The body learns to recognize familiar signals. And over time, a very small hint can awaken a feeling. Jung said that the unconscious always works like this. It remembers connections, an image linked with a feeling, a sound linked with a memory, a scent linked with a time, and then just one small part appearing can bring the whole feeling back. The smell of coffee has a very special power in this way. It is not only the smell of a drink, it is the smell of mornings, the smell of beginnings, the smell of a rhythm repeated many times, and so it becomes a deep signal in the mind. Perhaps you have walked into a place and immediately felt something familiar even if you did not know why. Perhaps it was just the smell of coffee, and that smell in the unconscious carried the feeling of ordinary days, peaceful moments, times without too much worry. The mind recognizes that very quickly, and sometimes that familiarity helps the body relax. Interestingly, caffeine can make us alert, but the smell of coffee can bring the opposite, a feeling of comfort, of familiarity, like a place we have been before, a place where we can rest. The body and mind do not always move in the same direction. One part of us may be stimulated, another part may be soothed. And that is very much like how people exist. Sometimes we are alert on the outside but tired inside. Sometimes we are quiet on the outside but bright within. Jung believed that people always have many layers of emotion at once, not just one, not simple. And it is this complexity that creates the depth of the soul. Coffee is the same. It can bring alertness, but it can also bring warmth. It can make the heart beat faster, but it can also bring the mind back to gentle memories. And now, in the quiet space of night, when you are no longer drinking coffee, when your body is slowly returning to rest, what remains is only a feeling. A very light, very familiar feeling, like a memory drifting away, like a very thin fragrance in the air. No need to hold on, no need to name it. Just let it be there and slowly fade into the stillness. Your body knows how to return to balance. Your mind knows how to soften. And when everything becomes slow enough, quiet enough, sleep will come naturally, like a gentle scent spreading and disappearing into the night. Part 9. Coffee and Human History. If we step back a primes, little away from the cup, resting quietly before us, and look farther at the journey of coffee. Throughout the long history of humanity, we begin to see that this is not only the story of a drink, it is the story of roads, of voyages across oceans, of cultures meeting, of people sitting together in small, warm spaces filled with voices. Coffee does not belong to one place. It began in distant lands on hills where the trees grew quietly, then followed ships across seas, followed traders, missionaries, and empires, gradually spreading across the world. There was no single moment when it appeared everywhere at once. It moved slowly, through centuries, through cities, through cultures. There is something very similar to the way ideas spread through the human mind. Carl Jung once said that there are images, symbols, and ways of thinking passed from one generation to another, not through explanation, but through experience, through stories, through repeated habits. And over time, they become part of shared life, part of the collective unconscious. Coffee, in some way, became such a symbol. It followed people everywhere, from the Middle East to Europe, from Europe to other lands, and in each place it gained a new meaning, a new way of drinking, a new rhythm of life. Coffee houses began to appear. At first, they were small spaces, rooms where people sat to drink, to talk, to listen to one another. But slowly, they became something special. People came there to debate, to discuss work, to share news, to tell stories about what was happening in the world. A small table, a cup of coffee, and many stories opened. We may not always realize it, but many important moments in history began in such places, not in large halls, but in coffee houses, where people sat closer together, talked longer, listened more slowly. Jung believed that people cannot understand themselves if they are always alone. We need to meet, to share, to exchange, because in connection new ideas are born, new perspectives open. Coffee houses became a space for that, a place where strangers could sit side by side, where conversations could last for hours, where time seemed to slow a little. There, people did not only drink coffee, they lived part of their lives. News moved from table to table. Ideas were discussed, plans were formed, dreams were spoken, and all of it happened in the warmth of an ordinary space. Perhaps that is why coffee gradually became part of the rhythm of work. Morning began with a cup. Midday brought a small pause, a quick meeting, a short conversation. Coffee did not only help people stay awake, it created pauses in the flow of work. Small moments, but necessary. Jung once said that pauses in life are very important. We do not always need to move fast. Sometimes the moments when we sit, listen, and do very little are when the mind arranges everything. Coffee houses have been such places for centuries. A place to pause, a place to think, a place to meet. And over time, these spaces became part of public culture. People grew used to sitting near one another, talking, sharing thoughts. A very gentle habit, but very deep. Coffee became part of life's rhythm. Not only because of its taste, but because of what happened around it. A morning begins, work opens, a short meeting, a small story. All became familiar images. From Jung's perspective, these images became part of the collective unconscious, a symbol of beginning, a symbol of connection, a symbol of rhythm. And the special thing is that wherever coffee goes, it blends naturally into that place. In each country, it takes a different form, a different way of drinking, a different way of sitting together. But everywhere, it creates moments for people to meet. A small cup, yet carrying many stories. Perhaps you have once sat in a cafe, listening to the sound of people talking around you. You did not need to join. Just sitting there was enough. And you felt something familiar, a feeling of being part of life's flow. Jung said that people always seek a sense of belonging, not always through great things. Sometimes it is simply a space where we can sit quietly and feel we are part of the world. In a gentle way, coffee houses became such places. But now, as night arrives, when cafes have turned off their lights, when the rhythm outside is slowing, the story of coffee is no longer about conversations. It becomes a memory, a very light image, a morning somewhere. A corner of a cafe somewhere, a meeting somewhere, all drifting away very slowly. And as you lie in the stillness, perhaps you feel that you too are stepping away from that rhythm. No more voices, no more work, no more hurried footsteps, only a quiet space. Like a cafe closing after a long day, everything settles. Sounds grow softer, and finally, only calm remains. And if we go a little deeper into the image of old cafes, we begin to feel that they are not only places to drink, but places where time moves with its own rhythm. Some people come every day, sit in the same familiar corner, order the same drink, and quietly watch people pass by. There are chance meetings, long conversations, moments when people pause simply to be together. Through centuries, coffee became part of the rhythm of work. Morning begins with a small cup to wake the body. Midday brings a short pause to breathe. In the afternoon, sometimes one more moment before returning home. Nothing grand, just rhythms repeating day after day. Jung once said that human life is shaped by very small habits, things we repeat daily, moments that seem simple, slowly become the foundation of inner stability. A familiar table, a familiar street corner, a familiar cup of coffee, all bring the feeling that there are still things in this world that remain unchanged. Perhaps that is why coffee has remained through so many centuries. Not because it is something extraordinary, but because it is always tied to very ordinary moments. Moments when people pause between work, between worries, between the rush of life. A cup of coffee does not change the whole world, but it creates a small pause within it. A pause to breathe, a pause to think, a pause to look back. And over time, these small pauses become part of culture, part of how people live together. Some cafes became places where workers met, where ideas were discussed, where plans were made, where ordinary stories were shared. And from those meetings, many new things began. Not loudly, not quickly, just conversations flowing one after another like small streams joining into a river. Jung believed that people always need spaces to connect, not only to talk, but to feel they are not alone. Just sitting near others can be enough. Just hearing other voices can create a gentle comfort. And coffee, in its simple way, became part of such spaces. But when night comes, everything changes. Cafes grow quieter, tables become empty, voices soften, lights dim, and one by one doors close. There is a deep quiet in that moment. A day has passed, stories pause, meetings end, and everything returns to stillness. Just like the human mind at the end of the day. After moving through so many thoughts, so many feelings, so many conversations, it too needs a space to settle. As you lie quietly now, perhaps you are stepping away from that rhythm, stepping away from the voices, stepping away from what has happened. And like a cafe after the lights are turned off, your mind is slowly becoming quieter. No need to hold on to everything. No need to remember every story. Just let today close gently, like a door closing, like lights fading, like sound dissolving into the night. And in that quiet, your body and mind begin to return to a deep, slow, natural state of rest. Part 10. Coffee in different cultures. If we look at the journey of coffee across many lands, we will realize that the most wondrous thing is not in the bean itself, but in the way people receive it. A small seed grown from the earth, carrying the flavor of nature, yet as it travels through different countries, it slowly becomes part of life, part of culture, part of very distinct rituals. In each place, coffee is drunk in a different way, felt in a different way, and gradually it becomes a gentle symbol of the identity of the people there. There is something very deep in this image. Carl Jung once said that even though people live in different places and belong to different cultures, they still share common images and symbols within the unconscious. But when those symbols enter daily life, each place expresses them in its own way. Coffee, in some way, is like a shared symbol, yet each culture tells that story in its own voice. In Ethiopia, where coffee is considered to have begun, drinking coffee is not just a habit, it is a ceremony. A coffee ceremony can last a long time. The beans are roasted right there. The aroma spreads through the space. Water is heated slowly. Small cups are poured, each person invited in turn. No rushing, no hurry. It is a moment to meet, to talk, to be present together. There is a quiet beauty in that ritual. It is not only about drinking something. It is a way for people to be together, a way for time to slow down, a way for life to feel closer, warmer. Jung once said that repeated rituals have a deep power over the mind. They create a sense of safety, a sense of familiarity, and within that repetition people find peace. In Italy, coffee carries a different rhythm. Espresso is small, strong, quick. People stand at the counter, drink in a few minutes, then continue with their day. There is not much time to sit, no long ceremony. Yet within that quickness there is a certain clarity, a brief moment but complete, a small sip, a warm breath, a rhythm that begins the day, and then everything continues. In Vietnam, coffee carries another feeling, slower, sweeter, stronger. A glass of iced milk coffee can last an entire morning. People sit there watching the flow of traffic, listening to the familiar sounds of the city. No rush, no need to do anything right away, just a pause. There is something very familiar in that image. A low chair, a small cup, a long morning, and time seems to move a little more slowly. In the Nordic countries, coffee has yet another shade. Lighter roasts, softer flavors, more gentle. People drink coffee many times throughout the day as part of an ordinary rhythm. Not too strong, not too intense, just a quiet presence. One seed, but thousands of ways to feel it. Jung believed that people, though different, are always searching for the same things: connection, warmth, moments to pause. And each culture finds its own way to create those moments. Some through long rituals, some through brief moments, some through slowness, some through quickness. But deep inside, all are simply ways for people to meet, ways for people to feel life. Coffee becomes part of that. A small bean yet carrying many images, a small cup yet holding many ways of living. In one place, it is sacred. In another, it is alertness. In another, it is rest. No way is more correct. No way is deeper. They are simply different shades of the same thing. From Jung's perspective, coffee has become a shared symbol in the collective unconscious of modern humanity. A symbol of beginning, a symbol of meeting, a symbol of a small pause within the flow of life, and each place tells that story in its own way. Perhaps you have never been to Ethiopia, never stood at an Italian coffee bar, never sat in a small cafe in the north. Yet just by thinking of those images, we can feel something familiar. People everywhere share one thing: the need for moments to pause, moments to breathe, moments to feel that they are alive. Coffee becomes part of those moments. And now, as night has come, as cities slowly quiet down, cafes around the world are also closing their doors. In one place, a coffee ceremony has ended. Somewhere else, the last espresso has been drunk. Somewhere, the ice in a glass of milk coffee has fully melted. Stories pause, conversations grow quiet, and everything returns to stillness. As you lie quietly in the night, perhaps you too are returning to your own stillness. No more sounds of the day, no more meetings, only a very light, very deep space. Like a coffee bean that has traveled through many places, carrying many stories, and finally comes to rest in a small cup. The human mind also moves through many things during the day, and then at some point it needs to rest. No need to go anywhere else. No need to think any further. Just be there, and let the quiet slowly spread like a very soft fragrance in the night. And if we stay with the image of different cultures sharing the same coffee bean a little longer, we begin to feel something very deep. Though the ways of drinking are different, the rhythms of life are different, the climates are different, the feeling that coffee brings seems to be the same at some subtle point. Somewhere in the world at this very moment, someone may be sitting in a small kitchen, carefully roasting coffee beans in the traditional way. Somewhere else, someone is standing at a counter, quickly drinking an espresso before beginning the day. On a distant street corner, someone is slowly stirring a glass of iced milk coffee, watching people pass by. And in a quiet place, someone is holding a warm cup in their hands, not drinking yet, just feeling the warmth. These images are very different, yet the feeling inside is very close. A feeling of pausing, a feeling of being present, a feeling that is deeply human. Jung believed that although we live in different places, we share very similar needs deep within the soul. The need to connect, the need to belong, the need to pause and feel that we are here in this moment. Perhaps that is why a single coffee bean can create thousands of ways of living, not because it changes people, but because each culture brings its own rhythm into the way it is enjoyed. Some places are slow and deep, some are fast and simple, some are warm and sweet, some are light and gentle. Each way reflects how people there live, work, meet, and rest. And the most beautiful thing is that no way is the only way. No style is the standard. They are simply different ways of living with something very simple, a small seed, passing through so many hands, so many lands, so many stories. Perhaps this is also very much like human beings. Each person is born in a different place, grows up in a different environment, carries different memories, and then forms a very unique way of living. No one is the same, but deep inside, everyone is searching for peace, warmth, and moments to simply be themselves. As you lie quietly now, perhaps you are not thinking of Ethiopia or Italy or anywhere else, but just thinking of a cup of coffee somewhere in the world. You may feel a very gentle connection, as if somewhere life is still happening. People are still sitting together, stories are still being told, and then as night comes, everything grows quiet. Cafes close, streets become still, conversations end. Every culture, though different, shares the same moment, the moment when the day ends and stillness begins. And now you are in that moment too. No more hurried footsteps, no more meetings, no more stories to continue, only a very personal space, very light, very deep, like a coffee bean that has traveled a long journey through many lands and ways of living, and finally comes to rest in the quiet of a warm cup. Your mind, too, is slowly coming to rest after moving through many things during the day. No need to go further, no need to think further. Just remain there in the gentle stillness, allowing everything to slow down, to settle, and gradually drift into sleep in a natural way. Part 11. Coffee as a living being still evolving. If we return to where every journey begins, not the cup, not the cafe, but the tree itself. Standing quietly on a hillside, we may realize something very profound. Coffee is not just a product, it is a living being. It grows, it adapts, it changes over time, and its journey is still continuing like a stream that has never stopped flowing. A coffee tree can live for a very long time. Some stand there for decades, through rainy seasons, through dry seasons, through the changing sky and soil. Each year it flowers, bears fruit, then quietly prepares for the next season. No rushing, no noise, just a steady existence. There is a quiet beauty in that image. Carl Jung once said that life always carries within it a movement toward wholeness, a slow but constant motion. Whether in nature or in the human mind, there is always something inside that wants to keep growing, to keep adapting, to keep becoming something deeper. The coffee tree is like that. It does not truly stand still. Even if we see it rooted in the earth, branches reaching upward deep inside, it is always changing. Each rainy season it absorbs more water. Each dry season it learns to endure. Each passing year it grows stronger, or sometimes a little weaker, but it continues living, continues growing. Over time, new coffee varieties begin to appear. Natural mutations happen in silence. One tree may withstand weather better, another may resist disease better, another may carry a slightly different flavor. No one forces it. No sound marks the moment. It is simply change happening naturally, little by little, over many years. Jung believed that people also carry a deep ability to adapt. We do not always notice, but we change through what we experience. An experience leaves a mark. A hardship leaves a lesson. A joy leaves warmth. And all of these slowly make us become another version of ourselves. Not in a single moment, but over many years. Like a new coffee variety appearing after many seasons. Some coffee trees grow stronger because they have endured harsher conditions. Some grow differently because they adapted to new land. No tree is exactly the same, and that is how nature continues to exist. Climate change is quietly altering where coffee can grow. Some places that were once perfect are now hotter, drier. Some new places are becoming suitable. Everything is shifting. Not fast, but real. There is a deep feeling in thinking about this, that even what seems most stable is still changing. not to disappear, but to continue. Jung once said that in life, change is not something to fear. It is part of being alive, part of the journey. People like trees must learn to adapt to new things, new circumstances, different stages of life. There are times when we feel we are changing without knowing why, times when we feel we are no longer the same as before, and sometimes that can make us uneasy. But if we look deeper, we see it is simply a natural part of growing. A coffee tree does not stay in one state forever. It grows, it ages, it flowers, it rests, it continues, and each stage has its own beauty. People are the same. There are times when we feel strong. There are times when we need rest. There are times when we feel we are changing a lot, but all are part of the journey. New coffee varieties do not appear because the old disappears. They appear because life always finds a way to continue, to adapt, to exist in new ways. Jung believed that inside each person there is a part like this, a part that wants to understand more, to grow, to move forward, even slowly. And what is special is that all these changes often happen very quietly. There is no moment when we suddenly become someone entirely different. Only over time we look back and realize we have come a long way. Like a coffee tree standing on a hillside for many years. Each season passes and it is still itself. Yet at the same time it has also changed. Now as you lie quietly in the night, perhaps you too are in a very gentle stage of change. No need to notice, no need to name it. Life is simply moving through you. And you are growing in your own way slowly. Your body is resting. Your mind is settling. The experiences of the day are being arranged. Like a tree resting after a long season, there is nothing you need to do. Nothing you need to hurry. Just let yourself be there in the quiet, allowing everything to continue naturally. Because just as the coffee tree continues to live, to adapt, to change over time, people do the same. And sometimes in the quietest moments, the deepest growth is happening without us even knowing. And if we stay with the image of that tree a little longer, we begin to feel the deep patience of nature. A coffee tree does not grow in one season. It needs many years to root deeply, to strengthen its trunk, so that each season it can flower a little more. Some trees stand there for decades, quietly witnessing every change around them. Rains that come and go, long stretches of sun, cold days, warm days. It does not leave. It does not resist. It simply learns to adapt. And in that adaptation, it continues to exist. Some years the weather is kind and the fruit is abundant. Some years are harsher and the tree must conserve its strength, move more slowly. But it does not stop living. It only changes its rhythm to match what is happening. Jung believed that people also have an inner rhythm like this. There are times when we feel we are moving forward quickly, and there are times when we need to pause, to rest, to draw inward. Both are natural parts of life. We do not always have to be strong. We do not always have to grow. Sometimes simply standing still and holding our energy is already a form of growth. As nature changes, new coffee varieties slowly appear. Not because someone decides all at once, but because over many years the stronger trees continue. The ones that adapt better keep flowering, and gradually a very gentle change forms. A small mutation, a stronger resistance to disease, a better adaptation to new temperatures. All happening slowly, almost impossible to notice day by day. But over many years the shift becomes clear. Perhaps the human mind changes in the same way. Experiences do not change us instantly, but they remain, quietly. And over time we begin to respond a little differently, understand a little differently, softer, stronger. Jung called this the growth of the soul, a long journey where a person gradually becomes themselves. Not by force, not by sudden change, but by moving through time. A coffee tree does not know it is evolving. It has no plan. It simply lives. And that life, when it continues long enough, creates deep change. People are the same. You do not need to know exactly who you are becoming. You do not need to understand every change inside you. Just continue living, continue moving through each day, and over time, everything will find its shape. Climate change is altering where coffee can exist. Some places once perfect are becoming harder. Some new places are becoming suitable. Life shifts, adapts, finds a way to continue. This may make us think of how life changes around us too. Places once familiar may no longer feel the same. Things we once believed may change. The rhythms we once knew may become different. And within those changes we learn to adapt, even when we do not realize it. As you lie quietly now in the stillness of night, perhaps you too are in a gentle moment of transformation. No noise, no clarity. Just little by little your body is resting. Your mind is arranging what has happened during the day, like a tree at night. No one sees it growing in this moment. Nothing visibly changes right now. But deep inside, life continues. Slowly, steadily, truly. And perhaps even as you drift into sleep, a very deep part of you is quietly growing, quietly adapting, just as the coffee tree stands there through the years, silently becoming a stronger version of itself. Part 12. Every cup of coffee is a small laboratory. If we look slowly at the moment a cup of coffee is being brewed, we may realize that it is not just a familiar morning action. Hidden behind that small cup is a delicate process, almost like a tiny laboratory where many elements meet and interact in silence. No loud noise, nothing dramatic, but inside, hundreds of small reactions are happening, creating the flavor we finally taste. Coffee extraction is a very complex chemical process. When water touches the ground coffee, it begins to pull out different compounds. Some bring a light acidity, some bring a gentle sweetness, some create a deep bitterness. They do not appear all at once. They dissolve layer by layer, moment by moment, second by second. If the water is too hot, some flavors become harsh. If the water is too cool, many aromas do not have time to appear. If the time is too short, the cup will be weak. If too long, the taste may become heavy. Everything depends on a very delicate balance. There is something very similar to how the human mind works. Carl Jung once said that a person is not made from a single element. Every emotion, every thought, every memory is the result of many things that have come together at different moments. A small experience, a passing sentence, a feeling without a name, all combine, gradually shaping how we experience the world. A cup of coffee is the same. The device used to brew can change the result. A small fin filter, an espresso machine, a pour-over dripper, each creates a different flow. And that flow determines how water moves through the grounds, how it touches each small particle, how it carries flavor outward. Water also carries its own story. Water in each place has different minerals. Some places have soft water, some have hard water. These small things, though invisible, still affect how flavor forms. Even the cleanliness of the tools makes a difference. A clean cup keeps the flavor clear. A little residue can change the experience. All of this reminds us that a cup of coffee is not the result of one single decision. It is the result of hundreds of small choices, grinding a little finer or a little coarser, pouring water a little faster or a little slower, waiting a few more seconds or stopping a little earlier. Each decision leaves its mark. Jung believed that human life is formed in the same way. Not from one big moment, but from many small choices we make each day. Things that seem unimportant. Things we do without much thought. But over time they accumulate. A small habit. A repeated way of thinking. A familiar reaction. Little by little, all of it forms who we are. If we look deeply, a cup of coffee is a harmony of many elements. No single element is enough to create everything. But when they meet in the right way, a flavor appears, and that flavor is unique in that moment. No two cups of coffee are ever exactly the same, even when using the same beans, the same person brewing, the same method. Just a small change in temperature in water, in time, and everything becomes different. Perhaps people are the same. No two lives are exactly alike. No two minds carry the same story. Each person is the result of hundreds, thousands of small things that have passed through their life, and all of them blend together, creating a very personal way of feeling. Jung called this the complexity of the soul, a deep system where every experience, no matter how small, leaves a mark. We do not always notice, but they are there, quietly, and over time they become part of how we see the world. When water flows through coffee grounds, it does not only carry flavor, it creates a very soft sound, a slow stream, a thin, warm vapor. Everything happens in silence. Perhaps you have sat and watched each drop of coffee fall. No rush, no force, just waiting. And in that waiting, a strange feeling appears, a gentle calm begins to spread. Jung once said that when we truly pay attention to something simple, the mind begins to slow down. When we watch a repeating movement like drops of water falling, complex thoughts drift away, and only a very present feeling remains. A cup of coffee being brewed is like a slow rhythm of time, drop by drop, second by second, breath by breath. There is no need to hurry. And now, as you lie quietly in the night, perhaps your mind is also like a small laboratory. What happened during the day is being processed in a very gentle way. Emotions are slowly being extracted. Thoughts are slowly settling. No noise, no force. Just a natural process unfolding. Your body is resting. Your mind is arranging everything. Like water passing through coffee grounds, very slowly, very steadily, carrying what is needed, then leaving clarity behind. And perhaps just as a cup of coffee is formed from hundreds of small decisions, sleep also comes from hundreds of small moments we do not notice. When everything is quiet enough, slow enough, gentle enough, rest will find its way like a soft flavor spreading through the space. And if we remain with that image a little longer, we may begin to realize that each cup of coffee is not only a small laboratory of chemistry, but also a laboratory of attention. When someone truly focuses while brewing, they begin to notice details that might otherwise be missed. The sound of water touching the grounds, the aroma changing little by little, the flow moving slow or fast, all become very gentle, very subtle signals. There is a deep beauty in observing such small things. Jung once said that when a person truly pays attention to something simple, the mind becomes quieter, not because all thoughts disappear, but because they begin to slow. When we watch a repeating movement like drops of coffee falling like warm steam rising, we begin to move away from the rush of the day. Each drop carries a part of the flavor. Each passing second carries part of the process. And if we are patient, we begin to see that it is this slowness that creates depth. A cup of coffee is not made in a moment. It needs time for water to touch every part of the grounds, for compounds to dissolve, for aroma to slowly spread into the air. It cannot be rushed. It cannot be forced. If too fast, the taste is weak. If too hurried, the aroma cannot open. Human life also has such processes. Some things need time to understand. Some emotions need time to settle. Some experiences need time to become gentle memories. We cannot force ourselves to understand right away. We cannot force ourselves to forget right away. We can only let things pass slowly like water passing through coffee grounds. Jung believed that inside every person there is a natural process always unfolding, a process he called inner integration. Thoughts, memories, emotions slowly find their place again. No need for too much control. No need to interfere with everything. Only time is needed. And perhaps the mind at night is like a cup of coffee being extracted. What happened during the day is slowly dissolving. Strong emotions are becoming lighter. Unfinished thoughts are settling down. No noise, no hurry. Just a quiet process. You do not need to understand everything happening inside you. Just like when brewing coffee, we cannot see each chemical reaction, but we know they are happening. And after some time, a warm cup forms. Sleep comes in the same way. Not because we force ourselves to sleep, not because we try to forget every thought, but because the body and mind are doing their work, like a small laboratory working in silence, like drops of coffee falling unhurried, continuous. And then, when everything is ready, the quiet spreads very gently, very deeply, until you slowly drift into sleep as if all that happened during the day has dissolved and settled. Part 13. Aroma, Memory, and Emotion. There is something very curious when we talk about the taste of coffee. We often think that we are tasting with the tongue, that bitterness, sweetness, and acidity are things that directly touch our senses. But if we listen a little more deeply, both science and experience show that most of what we call taste actually comes from smell. Aroma travels through the nose, reaches very deep areas of the brain, and there it touches memories, emotions, and things that have existed for a long time without us even realizing it. Sometimes a cup of coffee doesn't even need to be drunk. Just bringing it closer, just taking a gentle breath, and we can already feel something familiar. A warmth, a feeling of beginning, a morning from long ago yet very near. Carl Jung once said that scent has a special path into the human mind. It does not pass through thought first. It does not need explanation. It goes straight into the unconscious, where memories and emotions are stored in a very deep way. And because of that, just a very faint scent can awaken an entire stretch of time that has passed. The smell of coffee has a very strange ability. It can cling to fabric, to the air, to places we have once been, and over time it clings to memory itself. A shirt once worn on a hurried morning, a corner of a table where we sat many times, a small room with very soft sunlight. Just smelling that scent again, everything can return. Not as a clear image, but as a feeling. Jung called this the awakening of the unconscious, when a small symbol, a very gentle signal, brings back what has been lying deep within the mind. And scent is one of the most powerful symbols. The smell of coffee is not just the smell of roasted beans. It is the smell of morning habits, the smell of early days beginning, the smell of a quiet moment before stepping into the world. Over the years, that scent becomes tied to alertness, to preparation, to the feeling of starting something. But at the same time, it is also tied to familiarity, a morning repeated many times, a habit that needs no thought, a small moment that we do not realize we are remembering. All of it blends together, creating a feeling that is hard to name, a feeling like returning to somewhere familiar. Perhaps you have experienced this before, walking past somewhere, suddenly catching the smell of coffee, and in that moment you feel something gentle. You may not know exactly why, but a very soft warmth spreads. Jung believed that human beings do not live only by what is in front of them. We live with memory, with old emotions, and sometimes just a small signal can bring all of that back, not loudly, not clearly, but very truly. The smell of coffee can do that. It can remind us of quiet mornings, ordinary days, times that were not special yet deeply close. And what is special is that these memories often do not come with big stories. They come with feelings. The feeling of sitting by a window, the feeling of holding a warm cup in your hands, the feeling of beginning a new day in a very gentle way. Very small things, but over time they become part of the mind. Perhaps that is why the smell of coffee can bring such a sense of familiarity. It is not just a scent, it is part of the rhythm of life, part of the days that have passed. Jung once said that people are always searching for what feels familiar, because within familiarity we feel safe. And when we feel safe, the mind begins to loosen. There is no need to be alert, no need to be tense, just to be there. The smell of coffee in a very gentle way brings that feeling. Even though it is tied to wakefulness in the morning, when remembered at night it becomes a warm memory, a very soft image of days gone by. And now as you lie quietly in the stillness, perhaps you do not actually smell coffee, but just thinking of it, the mind can still feel something familiar. A feeling of morning, a feeling of beginning. But morning has already passed. The day has moved on. The work is done. The conversations have quieted. And the scent, if it exists now, is only a very soft memory, like a trace of steam fading into the air, like a habit repeated many times. Everything is slowly drifting away. Jung believed that when the mind begins to settle, memories no longer appear as clear images. They become gentle feelings, and within those feelings, people begin to relax. There is no need to hold on, no need to remember more. Just let everything drift away, like a scent dissolving into the night. Your body is slowing down, your mind is softening, and those familiar feelings, though very light, are creating a deep warmth inside. Just as the smell of coffee clings to memory over the years, the quiet of the night is slowly settling into your mind little by little, until everything becomes very light and sleep comes naturally. And if we stay with that feeling a little longer, we begin to notice that scent does not only remind us of the past, but creates a soft thread connecting the present and the past. There are mornings we have lived through that we never thought we would remember. Very ordinary, simple moments. Yet just once more smelling coffee somewhere, we suddenly feel as if we have been there before, even if we cannot name when. Jung once said that memory does not always exist as clear images. Sometimes it lives as feeling, a passing warmth, a very gentle familiarity, a sense that things were once simpler. And scent, especially the smell of coffee, can touch those memories very deeply. There are mornings that held nothing special, just light passing through a window, just a warm cup in the hands, just a quiet moment before the day begins. But those small things repeated over many years become part of life, and over time they become part of the mind. The smell of coffee can cling to the air, but it also clings to moments. It follows days that have passed, habits that have formed, feelings that once felt familiar. And when we remember, what returns is not only the scent, but a whole sense of peace that comes with it. Perhaps that is why at night, when everything becomes quiet, gentle memories appear more easily. Not to make us think more, but to remind us of things that were once simple. Ordinary mornings, repeating days, moments we passed through without effort. Jung believed that within each person, there is a part that seeks familiarity, not to return to the past, but to feel a very soft sense of safety. When we remember familiar things, the mind no longer needs to stay tense. It recognizes that some things are still okay, still peaceful, still there, and that feeling makes it easier to relax. As you lie quietly now, you may not remember a specific morning, but if you think of the smell of coffee, a very gentle feeling may appear. Not a clear image, just a little warmth, a little familiarity, a little softness, like an old piece of clothing that feels comforting, like a familiar corner of a home. No need to explain why, just feel it. Scent has a very special way of staying. It is not loud, it does not take over the mind. It simply stays there, very light, very deep. And even when we are no longer thinking about it, it remains like a gentle layer beneath memory. Sleep is like that too. Sleep does not come when we chase it. It comes when we are quiet enough, familiar enough, light enough. And now, as your mind slows, as thoughts become less clear, you may be entering a feeling very much like a scent fading into the air, not disappearing at once, just growing lighter, moving farther away, blending into the stillness. Today's memories are the same. They are settling, growing softer, growing lighter, and like the scent of coffee that was once vivid, now only leaving behind a deep warmth, your mind is slowly entering a peaceful space where nothing needs to be clear anymore, only light enough for you to drift into sleep. Part 14. Coffee is not just a drink. When we hold a slow cup of coffee in our hands, it is easy to think that it is simply a drink, a warm liquid, a familiar aroma, a gentle bitterness on the tongue. But if we pause a little longer, look a little deeper, we may realize that in that small cup there is more than coffee. Inside it is a very long, very deep chain of connections, linking people to nature, to time, and to one another. Coffee is not just a drink. It is a journey that begins in distant lands where farmers quietly care for the trees through each season. They do not appear in brightly lit cafes. They do not sit at small tables with hot cups, but they are the first hands to touch that journey. A seed planted in the soil, a rainy season passing, a long stretch of sun. Day by day the tree grows, and behind every cup of coffee is the work of hands that were there long before we even noticed. Carl Jung once said that human beings do not exist separately. We are always connected to what surrounds us, whether we see it or not. There are very deep connections we rarely think about, yet they are there quietly shaping life. Coffee is one of those connections. It is tied to climate, to soil, to rain, to highlands and lowlands. A small change in temperature, a small change in water, and the tree grows differently. And then the flavor becomes different. Nature touches the bean touches people. A very gentle continuation, but a very long one. Then comes science. Research into how to grow, how to process, how to roast, how to brew. Generation after generation, people learn to understand coffee more deeply, to bring out its flavor more clearly, to preserve what is most delicate. Science does not take away the natural beauty of coffee. It simply helps people listen to nature more clearly. Jung believed that true understanding is not about control, but about learning to recognize what is already there. Just like people learning to understand the coffee tree, not to completely change it, but to care for it better, to preserve what is most beautiful. And then coffee enters culture. In each place, people find their own way to live with it. A way to drink, a way to sit, a way to pause in the middle of the day. And gradually these habits become part of life. A morning, beginning with a cup of coffee, a short break during work, a small conversation at a table. Very ordinary things, but over time they become a rhythm. Jung called these repeating acts the rituals of life. Not grand ceremonies, but small habits that help people feel they are living within a familiar flow. When we repeat something each day, the mind feels more stable, feels anchored. Coffee becomes part of that anchor. It is tied to mornings, to beginnings, to moments before stepping into a new day. And because of that, it is not only a drink, it is a signal, a very gentle sign that life is continuing. Behind one cup of coffee is a farmer. Climate, science, culture, daily habits, all blending together to create something very small, very simple, but very deep. We may not think about all of this when taking a sip, but it is still there, like an invisible thread connecting us to many other people. People we have never met, lands we have never visited, seasons we have never seen. Jung once said that human beings carry a part of the world within them, and the world carries a part of human beings. Not through grand things, but through very small connections. A seed planted in a distant place, a tree growing for many years, a fruit picked, a bean roasted, a cup brewed, and finally it is here in your hands. There is something very gentle in realizing that everything is connected like this. Nothing is truly separate. Nothing is truly alone. Even a small cup of coffee carries a whole world inside. And perhaps people are the same. You are not only the person you are today, you are the result of many things that have passed through your life. The places you have lived, the people you have met, the experiences you carry, all connected, forming who you are now. Jung called this wholeness when a person realizes they are part of something larger, not isolated, not separate, always connected. As you lie quietly in the night, you may not think about those connections, but they are there, very light, very deep, like a quiet layer beneath every thought. A cup of coffee is not just a cup. It is a long story that has passed through many people, many places, many moments in time. And now, as the day ends, as the rhythm of life slows down, perhaps you too are returning to yourself, leaving behind the connections of the day, returning to your own stillness. No more conversations, no more hurried footsteps, no more tasks to complete, only a quiet space. And within that space, everything becomes lighter, slower, like a cup of coffee after it has been finished, leaving only a soft warmth. And that warmth slowly fades into the air, leaving a deep stillness behind. And if we stay with the image of that cup a little longer, we begin to feel more clearly the invisible threads connecting everything. A coffee bean does not appear on its own. It comes from land that has been cared for, from a rainy season that has passed, from someone who bent down to pick each ripe fruit, from a long journey we do not see when we look at the cup before us. There is something very peaceful in thinking that each ordinary morning of ours is created by many hands in distant places. Someone wakes early to care for the trees. Someone dries the beans in the sun. Someone roasts them in silence. Someone brews a cup. And all of those actions, though unknown to each other, meet in one very small moment. Jung once said that people never truly live alone. We are always surrounded by connections we do not notice. The things we use each day, the habits we repeat, the small objects around us, all carry traces of other people. Coffee is one of the simplest things, yet one of the most connected. It carries the climate of a land, the work of long seasons, the knowledge of science, the rhythm of culture. And then it enters daily habit, becoming a natural part of life. We may not think of all of this each time we hold a cup, but perhaps somewhere deep inside the mind still feels that connection. A feeling that we are part of something larger than ourselves. Not to make us worried, but to bring a gentle feeling we are not alone. Jung believed that people always need a sense of belonging, not necessarily a specific place. Sometimes it is simply the feeling that we share the same rhythm of life with many others, waking together, beginning the day together, pausing in small moments together. Coffee, in a very gentle way, has become part of that shared rhythm. In one place, someone is brewing a hot cup in the morning. Elsewhere, someone is picking ripe fruit. In another distant place, someone is roasting a new batch. All happening at the same time in different places, yet part of the same flow. And when the day ends, everything slows together. Hands stop working. Fields grow quiet. Cafes close their doors. The rhythm softens. As you lie quietly now, perhaps you too are stepping out of the flow of the day. The connections, the conversations, the work, all are gently staying behind, not disappearing, just pausing. And in this stillness, you return to yourself, like a cup after it has been finished, still holding a very faint warmth, not hot like before, not clear like before, but still there a gentle feeling. Your body is slowing, your mind is settling, and all the connections of the day are fading now like a thin mist disappearing into the night air. No need to think further, no need to hold on. Just let yourself drift into that quiet space where everything becomes very light and very deep. Part 15. Returning to stillness. And then, after moving through all these stories, we slowly return to stillness. The journey of coffee, if we look at it slowly, begins in a distant place from a tree standing quietly on a hillside. Through seasons of rain and sun, through caring hands, through long travels, through roasting and brewing, until it finally rests in a small cup. A very long journey, yet ending in a very peaceful moment. There is something gentle in thinking of that journey as a circle coming to a close. From tree to fruit, from fruit to bean, from bean to fire, from fire to water, and from water a warm cup of coffee. All those long steps, all those changes, all those movements, in the end they exist to create one small moment where a person sits down and becomes quiet. Carl Jung once said that in life, every deep journey eventually brings us back to ourselves. No matter how many experiences we go through, how many changes we face, what we are truly searching for is a place to rest, a place to let go, a place where we do not need to become anyone else. A cup of coffee, in its simple way, carries that journey. It passes through many places, many hands, many stages. But when it reaches the person who drinks it, it is no longer noisy, no longer moving. It is simply there, still warm and very close. Perhaps that is why the moment of drinking coffee often feels so quiet. A person sitting alone, a small corner of a table, a moment without hurry, no need to do anything right away, no need to go anywhere, just sitting, breathing, feeling. Jung believed that people need moments like that to return to themselves. In the fast rhythm of life, we often forget to pause. We move from one task to another, from one place to another. But deep inside, there is always a part that wants to rest, a part that wants to be still. And when we truly pause, even for a short time, the mind begins to slow. Thoughts no longer crowd together. Emotions no longer rise so strongly. Everything becomes softer, like a cup of coffee cooling after it is poured. At first it is hot, full of steam, but over time it becomes gently warm, then lighter, then only a soft feeling remains. The long journey of coffee ends in that kind of peace. And perhaps the journey of a day ends the same way. From the morning's beginning, from hurried footsteps, from tasks to complete, from thoughts following one another. All of it slowly passes, slowly settles. And now, as night has come, you are in a moment like that final cup at the end of the day, a moment to return to stillness. No more chasing time, no more answering anyone, no more thinking about anything right now, just being there, in peace. Jung once said that sleep is not only rest for the body, but a journey inward. When we sleep, the mind begins to arrange everything. Unfinished thoughts, emotions not yet understood, experiences from the whole day, like a long journey closing, preparing for a new day. And in this moment you are invited to let go. You do not need to try to sleep. You do not need to do anything to make sleep come. Just gently release your thoughts. Release what you are still holding in your mind, like a cup of coffee that has completed its journey and now only leaves behind a gentle warmth. Let your breath slow a little. Let your body feel heavier. Let your mind drift a little softer. Nothing needs to be clear. Nothing needs to be perfect. Just quiet enough, like a long road already traveled, leaving only the stillness of evening. Like a room after the lights are turned off, leaving only a very gentle sense of safety. You do not need to go anywhere else. You do not need to think any further. Just let yourself drift into that soft space. From tree to fruit to bean to fire to water to cup, the journey has closed in peace. And now the journey of today is closing too, very slowly, very gently. And in that stillness you can allow yourself to rest. Allow yourself to let go. Allow yourself to drift into sleep like a leaf gently falling onto calm water. And as we stay in that stillness a little longer, we begin to notice that the journey of coffee does not end only in the cup, but in the feeling it leaves behind. A little warmth, a little softness, a small pause between the rhythms of life that have passed. And that pause, though brief, carries a deep peace. Some journeys do not need to be loud to be meaningful. The coffee tree grew in silence. The fruit ripened in silence. The beans were roasted with a soft, crackling fire. And then, all of it became a cup of coffee also, in a quiet moment. Jung once said that the deepest things in life often happen in stillness. Not in grand moments, but in the times when we pause doing nothing, simply listening to ourselves. In those moments, the mind begins to grow lighter. Your day is like that long journey. You moved through the morning with its beginnings, through the afternoon with its work, through the evening with its flowing thoughts, and now everything is slowly moving behind you, like a cup that has been finished, still leaving a little warmth in your hands. No longer hot, no longer clear, but still there a deep, gentle softness. This is the moment when nothing needs to continue, nothing more to complete, nothing more to solve. Just let the day close. Jung believed that people need endings like this, moments when the mind understands that everything is enough. When a day is allowed to end, sleep comes more naturally, not held back by unfinished thoughts, not pulled back by unsaid words. Like the journey of coffee that has completed itself. It does not try to become anything else. It does not continue anywhere. It simply stops, and in that stopping, there is a very gentle sense of completeness. You can allow yourself to stop like that too. Let your thoughts slow. Let the images of today fade. Let your body grow a little heavier, as if held by the quiet. You do not need to hold on to anything. If a thought appears, let it pass. If a memory arises, let it gently move away. Everything is drifting farther, like the last warmth fading into the air as a cup cools. There is a gentle beauty in endings. Not a loss, but a completion. A circle closing. And within that closing, there is a quiet space for rest. You do not need to go any further. You do not need to try any harder. Just be there, in the stillness, like a coffee field at night. No more people passing by, no more sunlight. Only a very soft wind and a deep darkness. Everything rests. Everything slows. Everything returns to its natural rhythm. And now you can return to your own rhythm. A slow breath. A gentle heartbeat, thoughts growing lighter. The journey from tree to fruit, to bean to fire, to water to cup, has completed a long circle to rest in peace. And you are also arriving at the resting point of today where everything can be set down. Allow yourself to rest. Allow yourself to drift into that quiet. And in that deep, soft stillness, sleep will come light as a night breeze, carrying away all the tiredness, leaving a calm space where you can slowly, gently drift into sleep. And after we have traveled together through such a long journey, from the small coffee seeds resting in the soil to distant fields, to seasons of rain and sun, to caring hands, to voyages across oceans, to roasting, to brewing, and finally to a denier, warm cup in a familiar space. Perhaps what remains is not knowledge, but a feeling of slowing down, a feeling of lightness, a feeling like returning home after a long story. Carl Jung believed that the most meaningful journeys are not the ones that take us out into the world, but the ones that bring us inward. When we listen to a story, when we reflect on simple things, the mind begins to relax. No need to understand everything. No need to hold every detail. Just let feelings settle like water growing calm after ripples. Coffee, in its quiet way, has been a companion to humanity for centuries. It is there in the mornings, in conversations, in moments of work, in pauses during the day. And when the day ends, its image becomes part of a very soft, warm memory. But perhaps the most beautiful thing is not the flavor, but the journey. A very slow journey. A journey without hurry. A journey made from thousands of small changes. From a seed, to a tree, to a ripe fruit, to a bean roasted in fire, to water flowing through. And then, stillness. All those movements finally lead to quiet, just like your day. You have been through many things. Thoughts left unspoken. Tasks to finish. Conversations still echoing. Emotions you have not had time to fully understand. But now, as you are here listening, you may be entering a moment like when a cup has been finished. No more heat. No more busyness. Only a soft warmth left inside. This is when the body begins to rest. This is when the mind begins to let go. Jung once said that inside each person there is a very quiet place, a place untouched by noise, a place where when we return we feel safe, and sleep is the path that leads us there. You do not need to search for it. You do not need to try to sleep. Just relax a little. Let your shoulders soften. Let your breathing slow. Let your thoughts pass like clouds without holding on to them. If a memory from today appears, let it pass. If an emotion remains, let it soften. There is nothing left to solve. Just as a coffee bean after a long journey has completed its role, your day has also been completed. No need to go back. No need to fix anything. No need to think more. Just allow yourself to rest. You may begin to feel your body growing heavier, your eyes softer, the sounds around you growing farther away. These are gentle signs that relaxation is coming. Let yourself follow that feeling. Imagine you are sitting in a very quiet space, holding a warm cup in your hands. No need to drink, no need to speak. just sitting there in stillness, in a moment where nothing is expected of you. And then you place the cup down. There is nothing left to do. The day has closed. The story has ended. And now, only sleep is waiting ahead. Very close, very gentle. Thank you for being here, for taking the time to listen, to walk with me through these small stories, these gentle reflections about coffee, about life, and about our own minds. If these words have brought you a little peace, a little slowing down, a little comfort before sleep, you can support the channel by subscribing. That will help Stories for Sleep continue creating more gentle stories, so you always have a quiet place to return to whenever you need rest. But right now, the most important thing is to let yourself rest. No need to listen anymore. No need to think anymore. Just close your eyes, take one slow breath in, and breathe out very gently, wishing you a deep, soft, and peaceful sleep.